I actually disagree. If you're a fan, you came to the game to watch the game. So get into the game so that your team that you're supposed to help bring the energy that's lacking to help those guys so you can get across the finish line so we don't have these conversations about not, you got to do your part too.
You heard the word you use? Watch. Watching and participating are two different things. They need encouragement to participate.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying. You came to the game for a reason. So if you're gonna come to the game, then you ought to be a part of the game. What's the point of sitting there just watching, being miserable?
They came
Might as
for the
well.
band.
You might as
They
well have a
came for the
good time.
band. Came for the
Jared,
band.
how
What's up?
many of y'all love to talk about this 9 years, 9 years, 9 years, right? How many times I came to the what I call the Citrus Bowl, Camping World, and sat on Cookman's side and got my brains beat in,
Every
sir,
year.
every year. And
Yeah. What?
was there ever a time that I did not talk trash?
No, you showed up this year with some participation certificates. I ain't
Well, I
appreciate
mean, I'm just saying, I was just trying to
that.
I was just trying to help out, now I was just trying to do my civic duty. But there's not a year, y'all, that I don't go, I'm a ride or die for my Rattlers, period.
Yeah. Now, listen, to your credit, Earl, not only with you, but there is a stark difference. It always has been. From the time we were playing football together at Mainland High School, until now, FAMU's crowd has always been a lot more engaged in the
Yeah,
contest.
yeah.
Cookman's game is always Cookman's been like, okay, you give me some reason to get involved, I get involved. Otherwise, we kind of, we go ahead. And it's not like that every year, but for right now, things are just we're not giving them much to cheer for. And again, if
I
you,
got you.
yeah, yesterday, let me put it this way. I had this a little bit in my notes. I'm gonna get to you, Kobe, in just a second. So there was a young lady who came to the game. This is her first college football game ever. Her first football game ever. So she was at the game. So we asked her. She was like, "This sucks." Her actual words were, "These dudes are trash." She was like, "It's dead." Like, this is her first football game. She's excited about moving to the South, coming to a football game. She's like, "It's dead. The guys have no energy. They act like they don't care." And so, this is a first time visitor to a football game. And her response is, the guys out on the field act like they don't even want to be there.
I
That was her
got it.
observation. That's a problem. And so you say that, you push that back around. And to that point, the crowd was a lot more dead this game than they were, last week or the week before. So, there's some post-traumatic stress going on. We just trying to survive this thing right now. So,
I got you,
so
but what was the first thing I texted you yesterday? Y'all can't win with them stands looking like that.
that's the first thing that you text me. And, and my thing is listen, you got to earn it. You go out and win
Yeah.
game. You watch the Water Boy, Earl. You remember when they went from 2 fans to a full stadium? Win some games.
I got
Hit
you.
somebody in the mouth. Play with some passion. And to your point, I'll say this, and I'll get back kind of still. One of the things that I talked to Daryl and Nick, a couple other guys about that we're sitting next to is these guys don't look like they're having fun, man. I mean, at some point, go have some fun out there on the field. Go play. They're playing tight. They don't play free. They don't look like they want to be there. So I can't. Maybe if you want to make an overall general statement, but man, I'm more in the camp with Scotty and Coach Rowland. Is you haven't given these guys the fans anything to be excited about. So you go earn it. So Kobe, you had your hand up for a minute. Go ahead.
And Reed would have. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
No, he
I'm
wouldn't.
done. I'm done.
Reed would have stopped the game and went and picked up trash outside. That's what he would have did. Everybody get out the stand, go pick up trash.
Y'all
Yeah.
gotta go. That man ain't proving nothing.
You
Go ahead, Kobe. Yeah.
every time I come in this space, y'all mention every, and it's funny as hell because everybody gets started up right off that comment. Now, I'm going to say this. Walk with me again. There's a guy at William and Mary named Christian Taylor. He was assistant head coach of the year for the whole FCS. He's produced at least, 6 good players, 10 FCS playoff appearances, and then there's one other guy. He's at Central Arkansas, His name is Keith Scott. Produced some other good guys through the FCS portal. Those are some of the coaches that we should start looking at. Like, we should really start looking at some of these other FCS coaches, because I'm sure a lot of them are looking for an opportunity. And if you see their track record, it's pretty damn good. These ain't no like scrub assistant coaches or position coaches. These guys got a resume on them. And then on top of it, look at the other FCS schools and go get some of them white boys that can block. Go get some of them white boys that can hit. I'm just saying, man, all they looking for is an opportunity. They want to hit something too. So go grab these boys from Montana. Like I said, Montana State, North Dakota State. You got Big Sky players. You got all kind of good quality players out there that you can go grab. Because grabbing these other FBS players, some of them are scrubs, and then they come here and then they just bigger scrubs. So it doesn't make any sense. So all I'm saying is, and the other thing about the fan thing, one, Cookman doesn't have. We don't have our own stadium. That makes it even worse. And then not only that, the stadium is like 50 million miles away. So by the time the students even get there, they dog tired already. So it's like, I feel like, one, if Cookman had a stadium closer and something of our own, I think that would also help. But obviously the product needs to be there in order to, to get a stadium and all that good stuff, which, I ain't going to get into them politics. But however, I just feel like Cookman has got to get out of the old ways and go grab some coaches, some real coaches, not any that's coming with any controversy. Prime example, Stony Brook just fired their coach. That was their coach for like 20 years. You could thumbs down, but I'm just telling the truth. They fired their coach after 20 years. The dude was stinking up the place at Stony Brook. And they go and hire this guy. I forgot he came from like Delaware State, one of the two. And he's completely turned around Stony Brook within one season. Stony Brook went 0-12 last year. They're 3-1 this year. So
look at Teddy Keaton at Clark Atlanta. It's the same thing. He turned around. They haven't won a game in like 8 years.
Exactly. And all
Teddy Keaton has won everywhere he's gone, from Stillman to Allen to. I mean, that guy's a winner. So he's a proven winner.
So we gotta get guys with a good resume in here, and then the players will ultimately follow, and then the fans will follow, because we gotta start winning. Like, Cookman accepts 15,000 students a year, damn near. So them stands should always be packed. But however, if the team stink, who the hell gonna show up? Because I wouldn't show up. And to the Cowboy fan in here, y'all already been eliminated from the playoffs. I just wanted to get that in as well. So yeah, man, we gotta go out there, and we gotta go get some guys.
Yeah, well, they're gonna be. I don't even know where to start with that one. So I'm not ready to move on from the head coach just yet. So that's off the table. As far as some of the position coaches you mentioned, going to get some guys. I'm just gonna leave that one alone. I'm gonna get myself in trouble. There's some folks listening on here. I'm just gonna keep my mouth closed. And so there's some people on there that, let's put it this way. Our offensive coordinator is extremely highly thought of. Where he came from, he was, coordinator of the year and the best at this and yada yada yada, and we dead last in offensive efficiency. We were dead last in passing efficiency last year. So you still got to get guys that I want a proven guy. To that point, I want a proven guy at this level. If you're gonna go out and start getting some guys and mixing and matching those guys in. Listen, I want to do this real quickly. I see one of our female listeners, female fans joined in. I want to go ahead and you got something to say, ma'am? Go ahead and let these guys know you know what you're talking about too.
I got a lot to say, but the first thing I have to say is, I know y'all are throwing suggestions in here, but we can't even hire a president. So,
Lord, here we go.
Restaffing the football team, restaffing athletics. The issue is we got to start from the top and go down. And we're literally hanging on by a thread because it's been way too long. And there's a lot of internal stuff going on at Cookman. So
A lot.
The least the players can do and the students can do is create an environment for us to have anything to hold on to, anything to cheer for. Because I hear y'all saying fans, but the problem is that we're not watching the NFL. We're watching swag football. And a lot of y'all are alumni, so we are not fans. We are products of this environment. This is our school. So instead of it coming from a fan perspective, we need to look at it from, where's your pride? Our band is called The Pride for a reason. It has meaning to it. And we can latch onto the band as much as we want to, because at a lot of HBCUs we do that. But the problem is that I have went to a football game this year. And I went to the first home game of the season. And it's quiet. I don't like to talk about my age, but I went to Cookman from 08 to 12. I graduated from Cookman. Them stands was crazy. I was in the band, but I also have the student perspective. So the problem is that there is no culture and no atmosphere at Cookman. A lot of students at Cookman look at Cookman as a secondary or third, fourth, fifth option. But when they get there, that's when the staff at Bethune-Cookman need to change the narrative and show these students why they're here, why they are Wildcats, and why it's worth being a Wildcat. So honestly, with just going back to the football team, we have, if you guys look at our roster, a lot of our freshmen are wide receivers. Some of the O-line is freshmen. But a lot of other players, they're graduate students. They're seniors. We got some juniors in there. But the thing is this is not old school football anymore. We are not building from the bottom up. Like, these are not freshmen. These are not sophomores we're getting. We're getting people, we're getting athletes that have been part of a million other programs, and we really just need to, like, I don't know, maybe the pep talk's not there, but like, these boys, they just out here trying to, get to the next level, and they're like, okay, I could come to the school, I could ball the hell out because I know they players ain't nothing, and then, I could get picked up by this, or I have a, whatever. Or maybe nobody wanted them, and they ended up coming to Cookman. Cookman was the best offer. But, like, there's no culture being created within athletics, within the school, to basically turn these students into actual, like, Wildcats. Like, because I don't feel none of these athletes are deserving of the name Wildcats. Like, these are not Wildcats. They out there playing like somebody just gave them a jersey and say, just come on to practice.
Listen, don't go too far, because you onto something, and so and I want to continue to hear from you. Ashley, you were supposed to jump in here too. Now don't back out on me now. And so go ahead and send that speaker request, and we'll get you in here too.
Can I ask Remy a question? Like,
hold on, we're gonna circle back around. I want to hear from her. I want to hear from her a little bit more. Keep hold the question, Scotty, because I want to add to it real quickly. And then it may, you may have a secondary question to go along with the one that you currently holding. But listen, so be careful. Okay, let's take it down. I was talking to somebody. I'll just put it that way. So I was talking to somebody who has visited the university, worked on games, many times before. Someone not associated with school, and so but they're in HBCU athletics. And one of the things they were saying was like, man, it feels really different. Why does it feel so different coming back? And I'm like, listen, it's a different place. That's all to it. Things change, things evolve. And that's it. That's all I have to add to it. So, the other thing is, I can tell you this as far as trying to get, ingratiated with the culture and feeling Wildcat pride. There's a, Daryl and his crew, used to, feed the football team and do some things to kind of help feed the team and build some team camaraderie and that sort of thing. And we're told, don't do that anymore. I mean, so some of this is like, some things that people are trying to do and it wasn't just the football team. It was the softball team and the basketball team.
Women's basketball, baseball.
Absolutely. Baseball. And then, really told, by the administration, and they had their reasons behind it. I'm not going to try to act like I understand it all. That's not what I'm here for. I'm just telling you what the end result is. And so, again, maybe they have legitimate, valid reasons as to say, hey, don't do X, Y, and Z, even though this could be some team building and camaraderie, and you can kind of, get people acclimated to the culture and feel good about being here and want to be here. That's great. for whatever reason, there's reasons to put a pause on that. I'm okay with that as long as you're replacing it with something different. But when you're telling alumni, when you're telling supporters, when you're telling whomever that, you know, you can't do this, we don't want this kind of assistance, that's fine. Replace it with something else so that the students can still feel good about themselves. The athletes can still have time of bonding and still feel good and that sort of thing. And this came at a time, part of the reason why this came at a time is because there was one of the players who transferred in from another HBCU who told Daryl that he lost 15 pounds when he transferred to Cookman because between practice time and when the calf was available, they couldn't, you know, he was missing meals. And so the idea was, hey, maybe we can supplement some of that stuff. Maybe we can supplement the meals. Maybe we can help with some feeding and that sort of thing. So that it came about because one of the players was reaching out and said, we need some help. And then he talked to the coaches and they were like, hey, we'll accept the help. Well, the administration across the street saying we don't want that help for whatever reason. Again, I'm not going to try to, I don't know. I can't explain all of that. I don't know enough about the world of higher education to try to get into all of that. And I'm just saying, okay, that's fine. But if you're having a positive impact on the student athletes and you tell alumni and supporters to stop, then at least replace it with something else so that kids can still get what they need. But the fact that you take that away and it's left with nothing, you know, that's why you have other people coming back and say it feels different around here. Well, it does. But there's a lot of adjustments and things happening, and I'm hoping that everything come into focus and balance off and, you know, get all lined up. Scotty, go ahead with your question.
Hey, that's a great point. My question is Bethune alums and the fan base, are they able to deal with the building project, right? Like Dawson Odoms goes to Norfolk and he literally brings in 20, 30 freshmen, you know, those freshmen and sophomores. Like he truly is trying to rebuild a program from just a transfer portal nightmare, right? And with this microwave age of college football, with the transfer portal and how Dion did it at Jackson State and how kind of FAMU kind of imitated that model a little bit, are fans willing to wait for the end result? Because you got to understand, if you have a freshman that balls out, he could be gone next year. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how this new age is going. So if you get a coach that's willing to rebuild with freshmen and sophomores in high school and build that way, are you guys able to wait for the results? That's really the kicker. Because if you're looking for a microwave, like we want to win now, then that kind of coach isn't going to work for you.
But what about transparency? It will work if the coach is transparent. If athletics, the AD is transparent. If you tell us and you feed us information, not privileged information, just information, and tell us to basically surround you with support because you're going to, you know, build the best athletic program we've seen to date, or just give us something like, hey, let's pour into these freshmen, let's pour into these younger players because they're going to be stars by the time, you know, and like everybody wants to be a part of something. Everybody wants to be inclusive to things. So if Cookman was more vocal about things that they need, that they want, and that they wished for, then fans, alumni, supportive parents, supportive people in just the Daytona Volusia area would be more willing to give Cookman what they need. But they're shutting us out and things are very quiet and people are only getting information from, you know, their own exclusive sources, but it's not going to the masses. So it's just like, we can support those players. We can support that team because look how long we've been losing. You know, we have been impatient while losing, but at the same time, it's like, okay, well, we gave, you know, this new coach a trial and we're like, oh, a lot of people have told us the same thing. He's got to build, give him a chance. Regardless of the transfer portal, he's got to build. He's got to create that team. He's got to get his staff. He's got to get this right. But I feel like if he was more vocal, because it's sad to say, but we've been in an era of social media for a long time, and now we have players that are getting NIL deals. We also have. This is like the first time that we're seeing athletes in real time on YouTube. on Instagram, on TikTok, behind the scenes at practices, it's so much to see, and we're getting fed so much information and so much behind the scenes. That's what people want. The people are consumers, regardless of who they are. So Cookman is not feeding us anything. There is, if you look at some of these younger athletes, high school, college, they're not recording their journeys. People fall in love with those journeys, whether the individual player takes it upon himself or the school or the team does. They fall in love with those journeys. They support those players. That's why these other schools are creating larger fan bases because of that. Cookman doesn't have that. They keep shutting us out. So with them shutting us out, it's like, how can we even support a younger team if we don't know what's going on ultimately?
Did we lose Jerry?
I think we might have lost Jerry. Remy, you're right on point with everything you're saying. It's a shame that we have been shut out, and I know that rolls downhill for all the sports. A lot of information, a lot of the outcries that each coach has in every sport never gets across the street to the main administration.
was on one too. She was in a good flow. I'm up here fighting with my headsets. I'm thinking it's my
Man, I thought it was my internet. I was like, is it me?
Me too. Like, cause she was right in the middle of it too. She was flowing too. We got to get her back in here. Let me.
I think she was getting near her end when.
I think she had finished.
Yeah.
Was she? Okay.
Yeah. But I did want to, because Scotty did pose a good question in regards to the alumni base. And something that, wanted to point out for the Cookman program is fans, boosters, and then also Woody is the first coach outside of the program, even though he played for the program, but he's the first coach outside of the program since Jenkins in 2010. So when Jenkins
how do you think that he's from outside of the program though? He was 2 times.
No, I'm talking about coaching. No, I'm talking about coaching.
I don't know where you're going with that.
So he's the first coach that didn't coach at Cookman, is what I'm saying. He played there, but he didn't coach there.
So you're talking about like coming off of the staff, like hiring within the staff.
Right,
Gotcha. Okay.
Because when we brought Jenkins in 2010, the next man up was Sims, who was already on the staff.
Right.
So
that's actually a really good point. That's what North Dakota State does to keep that culture the same.
Yeah.
They keep hiring the guys within because it keeps that culture rolling of what their expectations are.
So I mean that is something to point out as well. And then you got to look at when we bringing Woody in. I mean, people already say Woody is the fallback guy. Lot of alumni are saying that he's the fallback guy. And that is not fair to Woody. Yeah. But the transparency hasn't been there since 2019, and they got rid of the person that was providing transparency. So,
listen, I'll say this: I think Bethune-Cookman does have a communication issue. I mean, let's face it. We all know the factions that are at war at Bethune with got this alumni association over here, and then the administration over here, and the board of directors going this that. So we understand. I mean, there's a lot of factions. Let's just call it what it is. Mm-hmm. It's a divided family, and people have kind of settled in their little camps and where they are. And because of that, you're right. Everybody's in their own little silo. And so the problem with that is that it does cause a lack of communication, a lack of transparency, a lack of understanding. And I think that was the point that Chanel was making earlier, is that, that's part of the reason why we want football to actually be successful, is because it's one of the things that can actually rally everybody together. That's part of why we're kind of, begging for this. And I can tell you this, I heard this out of Raymond Woody's mouth directly. At the top of the football, training center, the complex, there's you have that rooftop up there. He was already up there like, man, we can have alumni over here, and we can, bring in, members of the community. So it was like he was already kind of casting this vision of how he imagined, being able to rally people, to be able to communicate with alumni, to being able to communicate. Now, listen, that hasn't happened yet. I have no idea why. Like I said, and so again, I think what I'm saying is that there's at least an awareness that there has to be communication with the stakeholders to kind of cast that vision, to be able to say, here's what we're doing, here's what we're facing, and so you kind of have that, and then on the other, but it's not happening, and I don't know why. I don't know the answer to that. I guess what I'm saying is that there's people inside of that room who know it's necessary and need it, but then there's a bunch of other folk that get left and say, hey, let us know. How can we help? What can we do? What, how do we move forward with this? So, go make of that what you will, but it's certainly felt, it's definitely felt, that lack of, again, transparency, that kind of, to your point, I think the point you're making as far as, that there's not a cohesive culture, you go away from Sims and it's a complete, 180 away from that. But again, I mean, has anybody heard a vision for anything? We're all kind of waiting on that. So
right, but to answer Scotty's question, I think alumni would be okay because we was okay when Jenkins came in and turned everything around. So yeah, I think alumni will be okay if that was to happen with where they have good direction and good vision, as well as being transparent with everybody.
I'm gonna be real. I think even with Norfolk State alums are to me a perfect example of. And I know you guys have a more of a winning tradition than Norfolk, so I get that. What I'm saying is that first year with Odoms, it was rough, but you saw the potential because they were losing really close games. You know what I'm saying? Like 1 point, 3 point, 4 point losses, and that's something you can rally behind in year two because you're like, man, if we could just get this and we could just go here, that's the stuff I haven't seen from Bethune. That's all I'm saying. It's just like I could rock with you. I could rock with Woody if these games are closer, or if it came down to, a tip pass, an interception, because that's football. At the end of the day, it happens, a sack, fumble, whatever, right? But it was like after that Jackson State game, it didn't keep on that same track, and that's why I thought that was a pivotal point because that was your game. It was your game to have. You were better than them. You had the opportunities, and they didn't go, okay, cool, we lost a close game. But from that point forward, I just never saw that same team again, like at that precipice. And that's that's the point I'm trying to make when it comes to Bethune is like it's hard to get behind something when you're not seeing the product on the field get better, or because for what I was told, somebody told me, Scotty, you gotta wait. He didn't get the chance to recruit his guys, and he didn't do this, and I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. And he gets the whole year to do it, and this is what you put on the field. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Listen, I can't argue with that. And, there's a question. One of the things that I wrote down to kind of put out there, and, I think you kind of gave your opinion on that, Scotty, is this team, I'm not talking about the whole program, the teams that we see on the field, are they regressing from week to week? Are they progressing, regressing, or staying the same? That's my question. What are we doing? Are we getting better? Are we worse? I think we're more talented. I think, at least I thought that until maybe yesterday. I thought we were more talented, but I don't know that we are progressing. And that's my question. You guys think we're getting better or worse?
I can't say that we getting better. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. My main concern right now with us being mid-season is the morality of the guys, because, like you said, we live in the age of transfer portal, this, and as soon as something don't go the guys' way, they're checking out. I've watched certain guys hit the transfer portal with nowhere to go, but they just wanted to hit the transfer portal. And now being mid-season and you're 0-5, how many guys are mentally checked out at this point? To where it's like, all right, guys, we still got a chance, or how many guys are saying, no, we don't have a chance, man.
Especially with that D2 loss. God,
yeah. So that's my main concern, because we have the athletic ability. Sure, we're a little bit light, on the D line and O line as far as the size, but as far as skill positions, they have the athletic ability. But do we have the mentality and the morality of? And just to pick back up on, I heard somebody say earlier, the tackling Saturday was just. I mean, it was just all arm tackle. It was terrible. First half tackling was terrible, and it kind of, to me, looked like, I was kind of questioning our strength and conditioning at that point, because it just looks like they were just faster, stronger, and I'm like, well, goodness, and like, it don't even look like we can even keep up with these guys on the field. Now, of course, second half they kind of got it together. Fourth quarter they had a little sense of urgency, but we got to be able to put a complete football game together. First half of Clark Atlanta looked like we had a sense of urgency, like we wanted to score, and then second half, it went downhill. This game, first half, we were terrible. Second half, looked like those guys were scrambling because they didn't want yet another loss. So, just to answer your question, man, I don't feel like we're getting better, because I feel like after this loss and Clark Atlanta, I just question if those guys are mentally checked out.
Yeah. Well, you already had one of your starters quit on you, and that was before the Clark Atlanta game.
Yeah.
Hey,
Darryl, I'm not sure what happened with that.
Me and Darryl. I'll let Darryl tell it. Go ahead, Darryl.
Well, we're sitting up in the stands at the Clark Atlanta game, and teams out on the field, and all of a sudden I see this one offensive lineman heading up the stands, like regular street clothes and everything. He goes to one side over by the band, and then he motions over to sit over by us, and like, what's going on? And I'm good. I'm still on the team. And then, come to find out that our starting, one of our starting right tackles is redshirt. So,
yep. And that's my which. Okay, I think I know which one you talk about. I ain't gonna name no names.
Hammons. I mean, he's not out there. It's the starting right tackle. Trey Hammons.
And the crazy, and it's happening at large universities. I mean, USC just had it happen. UNLV. So, I mean, we're not out of the picture when it comes to that. Now, like I said, I've seen guys in past years that Cookman hit the portal with nowhere to go, and they just hit the portal thinking that somebody will just magically pick them up. But they see what these large FBS school guys hitting the portal. They see maybe some guys from FCS schools get a chance at FBS, and everybody thinks that they can get that same opportunity. So now my thing is like, okay, how many guys are saying, man, you know what, man, I'm gonna go. I don't even want to be a part of this no more. Instead of, saying, you know what, let's have some pride about this and try to finish this strong. Because if we mentally check out and we win one, maybe 2 games of the season, then nobody's gonna be looking for you, no matter if you hit the portal or not.
Correct. I mean, that's exactly right. It's like it's one thing to transfer from a team that's winning and you're helping them win, but you got we're working on 4 years of bad football, and so and you quit on that team. That if you don't have that already lined up, that's a hard sell. So wish him the best. He's got his whole life ahead of him. You hope you don't look back and see this as a mistake, but he has to work that out. And again, we wish him the best. So, but yeah, that's a good point. And so, but again, I think the original point that we started all this was Bethune-Cookman had the appetite to say that we're in a rebuild. I think we said if that's communicated, it's interesting that the last time that we lost to a Division II team was back in 2009. We lost to Shaw University, but it was funny. That was Coach Wyatt's last year at Bethune. But Coach Wyatt committed to at that point. He said, we got some young guys. They're going to be really, really good for us. We're going to go with the youth movement. So we're going to put these young guys out there and let them play. Those young guys at the time wind up being Reggie Lewis, who was the defensive coordinator for Alabama State that rolled into town yesterday. It was Reggie Sandilands. It was Ryan Davis, former MEAC of the Defensive Player of the Year. It was Gene Fenor, who played for the Green Bay Packers. So, he looked around and he had some guys and he played them. Now, let me say this. I don't know if we have a Reggie Sandilands or a Gene Fenor or a Ryan Davis on this squad. Let's just be honest. So,
we have one, but he's injured.
Oh, yeah. You're right. But, to that point, though, it's like, can we, are we at that point, where Coach started talking about, Ashley talking about Reggie's cousin. You were supposed to talk a long time ago, Ashley. So, anyways, so she posted in there. So, anyways, I don't know if we have those kind of players. I don't know if it's that time yet. Do you all think it's that time to just make the youth movement, or you stay the course and see if you can win a few games with the guys that you're rolling out there?
Well, go ahead.
Go ahead, Ashley. I'm about to mute these guys because I want to hear from you and Chanel again. I told you guys I want to just leave a segment for you guys to speak your piece. I'm about to turn all their mics off so y'all can speak freely.
Okay, so I am a Wildcat alumni. Bethune-Cookman, I love that university. My father played for Bethune-Cookman, so that's where my parents actually met at. But I agree with starting with the young guys. It's just like you're bringing all these transfer guys in. They're not meshing with each other. Seems like all of them have egos, like I came from this school or I came from that school. And it's just like a one-mind track. Let me see what I can do for myself, not what I can do for my team. I was recently an admissions counselor, recruiting for Atlanta here at BCU, and I was get a lot of fresh high school seniors who would be interested in the football team, but it's just like when you're reaching out to athletics, so I have these guys. I mean, I'm not a recruiter or anything for athletics, but you have those guys who just want a shot to see and show what they can go ahead and actually do for the team. I can say when Quayshawn got hurt, that's how we found out who Jimmy Robinson was. So
Right.
it's just like we don't know what we have because we're putting out the same people who are not producing anything. So it's just like give that freshman, give that junior, give that sophomore a shot instead of just putting the same thing out there and it's getting us the same exact results that we're getting. Nothing.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: when you worked over across the street, right? You worked in admissions,
Yes.
and you say you had student athletes who were interested to come into Bethune, specifically as it relates to athletics, since this is what we're kind of talking about.
Correct.
What was the relationship like between the administration and athletics? Do you feel like you got the kind of feedback and the kind of timely responses that would be necessary to run an effective athletic department?
So I would say I actually went to school with the director of recruiting. So I call him Sleepy, but Coach Denson. So I actually would just like compile a list of all of the students. I would just make a QR code and it's just like, okay, you're interested in this, you're interested in that. And I would just send it over to him. Nothing ever actually happened from it, but they were like, oh, well, we invite them out to junior days. But I mean, since I actually knew him personally, I would get a response from him. But as far as the higher ups in athletics, no.
Okay. But I mean, that was your contact, right? It was
Correct. Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Good deal. But yeah. Okay. Good deal. And what was the environment like when you were up there specifically? Some of those things that you heard earlier, where you see like the campus is dead, is what Nell said earlier.
My position was remote because I live in Atlanta, so I wasn't actually on campus. So I wouldn't have been able to see what the actual campus culture was.
Gotcha. Go ahead. I see you jump back up to the top. We told you we're going to allow some room for some of the female fans to speak. So Chanel, I see you jump back up at the top. You go ahead and unmute, if you will.
I'm not sure why I'm at the top, but
You at the top.
But all I can say is that from the game that I did go to this season, the first home game, we thought it was funny that, all the old heads was yelling at the football players, but you should have heard them talking amongst themselves. So I sat in Section C. I sat right there on the 50-yard line. I could hear everything. I was in the first row, so I could hear these boys talking to each other. And honestly, like they don't even believe in each other. Like you got players that got a little passionate throughout the game. They were like, "Come on," saying what they have to say to get everybody hyped. And you have other players that was like literally like, "Bro, tell bro shut up, like shut the up," And
really?
I brought my friend with me, and she went to school up north. She did not attend an HBCU, so she doesn't really watch football. But she was like, "Hey, you always talk about Cookman. I'd love to come to a game with you." So I brought her with me, and she's listening to everything on the sideline, and she's watching the game, and she's just like, I said, "You know what? This is a bad representation of our school. I am so sorry, but like." You should have heard it. Like, you had players over here yelling at each other. You had other players like, man, whatever. Like, and it's like they didn't care. They literally didn't care. And it was just, I don't know. Like, I don't know how to feel about that because, like, it was just like a awestruck thing to see. Like, I've been to so many football games, but the narrative that, like, all the stuff that I've heard on that sideline, I was just like, oh, we're not going to win this game. And I'm so optimistic when it comes to Cookman football. I'm very, very delusional optimistic. But the mentality that was on that sideline, there was no way we were going to win.
There's no just ego.
No, I mean that's a cultural problem.
Yeah.
And so I see someone just raise their hand. Let me get to that in just a second. But I want to ask you guys this, just everybody. But I want to give again Chanel and Ashley a chance to address this first. I see Todd from Alabama A&M just jumped in. I don't know if I want to say this word or not. But anyways, so as a whole, right, again, I think, as Cookman fans, we're embarrassed, right? We're not used to losing. And let's be honest, I thought, most of the people that I know thought that when we switched conferences from the MEAC to the SWAC, at that time that we moved over, our last 9 games against SWAC, we were 9-0. We hadn't lost to those guys. We were running through the SWAC. So we switched conferences. The assumption is the MEAC's a better football conference. That's the assumption, right? We're going to go over here. We're going to show them who we are. We got a lot of blowback, a lot of why is Bethune-Cookman coming? And I think in most of our minds, proud Wildcats, like, we're about to go over here and show them who we are. They don't know who we are, but we're going to show them. And it's been an utter embarrassment. And so, how much of this has been, it's embarrassing because we're losing, but it's almost embarrassing because it's like we know the history of this program. We've all been a part of the winning side and the winning tradition of this program. And yet we are still over here in the SWAC and haven't had a reason to open our mouth about anything. How much of that just eats at you? Ashley, Chanel, you guys first, and anybody else who want to jump in.
It eats at me bad because I'm so used to going to the MEAC SWAC challenges and running up 60 on the SWAC team, and it's just like, oh, okay, we got here, and it's just like I really thought like, okay, we're still gonna be at the top, but to just constantly do L after L after L after L. I hate wearing my Bethune-Cookman stuff in the airport sometimes. I'm not even gonna be lie to you.
That's crazy.
I wear my stuff in the airport. I don't care. Stare at me. I'm just kidding. But I think as far as going to the SWAC, when was our last championship? 2014, right? I believe so.
15.
It was 15.
I think it's 15.
I think it was 14.
It was 15. We tied. We had tied.
We tied. Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, so 15. So then you had 16 through 19 that we hadn't won a championship. Our record was declining.
Right.
And then we jumped into SWAC, 21. So based off of that, just the last 10 years, the last 5 of the 10 years, let's just say to 19, right? Like if we go from 09 to 19, we were not killing the MEAC for us to jump to the SWAC and be like, we about to dominate the SWAC. Just logistically speaking, like it had been years since we had a championship. But I'm not saying that they couldn't come back. I'm just saying, like, logically speaking. And then the coach and different coaching, different players
was like supposed to be the lesser league than the MEAC. So it's just like all that time we were dominating the SWAC. It was just like this would have been a good move for us because although we were like in the middle with the MEAC, it's just like we were still on the top of the SWAC because we had not lost to them. So it was looked at as a good thing. Like, okay, well maybe this is a rebirth for the football team because we've always had that edge on the SWAC, but it just wasn't what we did at the time.
Can we go back?
Man, I thought we were going to hang 63 on Prairie View again. I'm saying that for a particular person that's listening. I thought we were going to continue to beat Alabama A&M down. Ain't neither one of those things happened. Get mad at your mom.
But I would say this, though. I mean, we dominated the MEAC, to be honest, because no MEAC team wanted to schedule Cookman. They had the schedule, but in the conference. But we, I'm going to go from 2010 because 09, we had a losing season in 09. That was Wyatt last year. From 10 to the time we left, besides 2016, we was always dominating. Even though North Carolina A&T was also dominating too, we was still the team of the beat because we was named the team of the century. And
listen, we thought 7 wins was a bad season. We would go 7-4 with 2 losses to FBS teams, and that was bad for us because we got that in our system. But that's
look how times have changed. Now y'all losing the D2 schools.
Now we're losing the D2 schools, and that is a problem. Trey, you've had your hand up for a long time. Go ahead, sir.
Y'all are this is y'all first rebuild. That's why. Like, y'all doing a complete rebuild. Like, you gotta understand, I'm a PV fan. So, look, you got to think about you coming from the MEAC to the SWAC. You got to think about in the MEAC SWAC challenge, you're only playing a SWAC team for one game. Now you got to play them for 8 games. And then you didn't have a winning season when y'all were doing that. You were coming over from all right. But you should play the younger players because that's going to set your culture. They're the ones that are going to set the culture. Because if they've been in there during this rebuild for 3 to 4 years, they're going to be like, okay, the next group that comes in, they're going to teach them, like, this is how you're going to win. So that's why y'all having arguments on the sideline because y'all are in a rebuild. You're in a rebuild. Like the rebuild, you're not gonna win at first in this rebuild. Now, year 3, that's when you're gonna see your results in that rebuild. You're gonna be like, okay, this is when these guys, the young ones that we're playing, they set the culture. Look at them now. During this rebuild, if you go pop a FAMU, y'all's rivals, or you pop a Jackson State, then you see, okay, we're going in the right direction. But it's just you're just going through a rebuild, so you just have to like live with it's gonna be aches and pains because you're like, dang, we're used to winning, but now we're losing. But that's what it with a rebuild, and the portal doesn't solve everything. It's just a temporary fix.
Hey Trey, I will go Trey. I will ask Trey and the rest of you guys a question. My question is wouldn't that rebuild have started now? Like you know what I'm saying? Like he went heavy portal now. So to me, if you would have, and I think that goes back to what you were saying, Hell Wildcat, about being and Remy, we're talking about being transparent. If Woody would have came out and just said, you know what, we're in a rebuild, we're trying to bring back the culture of Bethune-Cookman, so my class is going to be heavy freshmen, then I think a lot of people would have been on board with saying, hey, you know we're going to lose, but we're trying to get these guys time, we're trying to build, we're trying to do this. But when you go heavy portal and the portal doesn't work out for you, they can't say, you know what, my bad, guys. You know, we in a rebuild. We in a rebuild. Like that's not that doesn't make sense.
But my thing,
that's true. Like it's true because think about this: the portal. This is not AAU. I'm not about to go get a whole bunch of people out this portal and we're gonna fix it together. Like that's why I'm saying where Scotty coming from. He right because you went heavy portal, so you think win now. Like, no, you in a rebuild.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you look at what he went heavy in the portal, but I think it was a good balance. I think this was kind of an eye on trying to do a little bit of both. I think so.
Yeah,
here's the other thing. Because if you think of it, like Bethune, they returned 4 starting offensive linemen from last year. And the one that didn't come back was kind of invited not to come back. So you get all of your starting offensive linemen. You get your top 3 quarterbacks coming back. You look on the other side of the ball, you still got your returning, your top tackler, both your linebackers from last year. You get a couple of your defensive linemen from last year. So, you got a lot of pieces that's coming back from the year before. So, I think there was an idea of we can go out and supplement, and bring in a couple of wide receivers and bring in a couple of secondary players. We just haven't hit on those guys, frankly. I mean, that's it.
Y'all averaging 30 points a game. That's a bright side. Like you were almost averaging 30 points a game. Oh, y'all not? Hold on.
No, we not.
My bad.
I wish we were at
for 2 games we did 30 or more. But the offense is not scored. And Clark Atlanta is the only time the offense actually scored 30 points.
Yeah. Y'all just
Yeah, we in a rebuild and we don't know we're in a rebuild. I think it's been forced on us.
Facts.
Yeah. So again, to that point is, again, and to their credit, I think last game they started a freshman, a true freshman at corner. They started they didn't start him, but they wound up going to a freshman running back who actually started to get in rhythm. We started a freshman on the offensive line. So, you got some of those guys that you're running out there. So, at some point you're just going to have to figure out who's going to play with some pride. I mean, that's kind of the big thing. And I think you kind of heard that even from, you heard him sitting in the front row and the guys are telling the other guys, you got too much passion to play football. I'd never heard that in my life. Ever.
Well, Jerry, we saw some of that. We saw some of that in Clark Atlanta by, the gentleman who went into the locker room because, he gave up.
Go to explain to everybody what happened there. Yeah.
So this young man, unfortunately, gave up 2 touchdowns, pretty well defended touchdowns, but still gave them up after the first one. Boo-hoo crying on the sideline. Came back late in the game, gave up another one down by the scoreboard end, and that was it for the day for him. He decided to just walk in the locker room himself. It wasn't a coach chewed him out or anything. He just, shut down on his own, and unfortunately one of our injured starters had to go in the locker room and grab him and tell him to come out. You're still a part of this team, and, we lose together. So.
I think that speaks to the type of people that you bringing in. Because I heard somebody say earlier that you have people that, and I think even last week we was talking about it. You have certain players that come in that think that they're doing Cookman a favor by transferring to Cookman because they may come from even a smaller FCS school. Even a smaller FBS school, PWI, or even some FCS PWIs that are a lot bigger than Cookman, but they think they're coming to Cookman, they're doing a favor. So their mentality is not, they're not coming in hungry. They're coming in thinking that, they're privileged and, you know what I mean? So that's why, in my opinion, I never been big on the transfer portal. I was always big on, of course, getting guys, developing them. Definitely big on JUCO guys because Jinx was heavy in JUCO. And guys come from JUCO, they just have a different mentality. So for me, what I'm seeing guys that the body language is just terrible. The attitude is terrible.
So you guys know Bree, who goes by Beehive on Twitter. She always posted something crazy out there. But the current coaching staff, they have a tendency if you don't have a 3.0, they're not recruiting you. So they go for. Anyways, she put something out there that she missed the days, when Cooking was going out and, recruiting guys who had 2 kids already, by the time they were 18 years old.
Well, you need that because they got a different type of hunger. You need that. I need someone that got a 2.3. Yeah, because you're hungry. I need that.
Listen, I play with
Those be the best players, though. And we all know guys who lived in the hallways that were the best players.
Yeah.
I played with him. I'm telling you.
Yeah, you did, Doris.
It was different.
Definitely.
Listen, man, when football is all you got, man, that's it means something different. It's like I want you to be a student athlete or athlete student. I can't figure out which one, but whatever you do, go out there and make some plays. If you got to feed little Jimmy when you get home, then maybe play with a little bit of different hunger. So no, I thought that was good. So we're gonna wrap up soon. So anything? What are you guys looking forward to this year? What do you think, dude? Let me ask you this. Does Cookman win a game this year? Is it possible?
Winning 3 to 4 games should be all right.
What's the schedule looking like? I mean, if you got Valley, that's a guaranteed one right there. If you got Valley, if you play Valley this year,
Valley is the week after Alabama A&M.
I don't know if you'll clip UAPB though. UAPB got a guy that Mekhi.
Don't play them. Yeah, okay, he's good.
Yeah. As long as you play Valley, you good. You good.
We got
Valley.
Well, I don't know what that is. Their homecoming, so they come in to try to.
Looking at what y'all schedule on.
To win on their homecoming.
Jackson State, Southern, Texas Southern, possible.
That if they go, oh my God,
I think it's impossible, Scotty.
Yeah, it is because of the stubbornness of Chris Dishman, man. But yeah, that's possible. It's a possibility. That's a possible. So that's 2.
We got Southern. We go to Southern.
They go to Southern, and then you got Alabama.
You said you got A&M?
We got Alabama A&M in 2 weeks after a bye week. We got a bye week this week, and then we got Alabama A&M.
It depends on what A&M you get. If you get like the 2 years ago A&M when they were play calling was A1, they'll probably put 30 or 40 on you.
It's homecoming for them.
A&M where they're a little shaky, you could possibly beat them. I mean, they can't stop a nosebleed. I mean, defensively they're bad as always, but offensively they've always been pretty good. So if you can't stop nobody, it might just be a shootout.
Yeah. I don't know if we can outscore them.
Yeah, and it's their homecoming too. So
we'll worry about FAMU the 3rd week.
My question is,
3rd week
how much of a leash does Raymond Woody have? That's my question.
That's a good question. I don't think there's any chance he loses his job this year. I don't think so. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. Yeah, he's 2 years in, Yeah, I get it. So I'm just saying, but like, what does it if it continues to look like this, what does that leash look like?
Are you saying continue into next year or just this whole year?
Yeah, the 3rd year, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because he's an alum, are you going to let him slide? Or, is it a 4-year, you got to go, we get somebody new? Because to me, I would keep Teddy Keaton on speed dial, okay? Like, I'm right there, waiting.
Teddy Keaton made a convert of all of us. I mean, come on. I mean, that's like we knew he was good, but for him to come to your place and do that. And if you want to kind of judge coaching staffs, there's a lot of metrics. Here's the easiest one. Everything is the same, except all the same resources, same amenities, same players, everything's the same. The only thing you change is you put one coaching staff on the other sideline. You just swap coaching staffs. Who wins the football game? And last week, if Teddy Keaton had Bethune-Cookman team playing against Clark Atlanta, they win by 30. But yet they found a way. If he was coaching the guys in maroon and gold instead of the guys in red and black, he wins by 30 with Bethune over that same team. But he was coaching Clark Atlanta, and he found a way to get a win. He has nothing but my utmost respect. Again, I love what he was doing at Stillman and at Allen. And, those guys, they told me that they think that they can go and start taking recruits away from South Carolina State and Bethune at Clark Atlanta because of the Atlanta market and what it offers.
Hell yeah! Have you been to Orangeburg? Have you been to Orangeburg?
Yes,
yeah, you got the new field. Yes, that's a marketing. Yes, they probably can.
Yeah, so we'll see. But I think, that's a good question. I think we kind of, that's a long way removed right now. What I do think is there's almost a demand that if things continue to go the way that it continues to go, I think there has to be a shakeup amongst the coaching staff. Like, I just don't see how that there's not anything that you can point to and say, man, listen, they really do X, Y, and Z well. Last year, the defense traveled. They lacked some talent on defense, but the defense played well. The front seven played well last year. This year, you're just scratching your head and like, man, what? I don't know what we hang our hat on.
Just look like they don't want to be there.
That's what they look like. They look like they're ready. They're ready for the season to be over with, and that's concerning.
That's because when things go wrong with them, they don't know how to. They're just like, okay, this is over with. And it kind of showed during that Clark Atlanta game. Like, he's just like, oh, it's just going downhill, man. Forget it. We're going to throw the towel. Like, this score. You just need to stop.
That's it. Yeah. So, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, this last thing I said before I go is, if y'all was concerned about, what they saying to each other on the sidelines, I would hate to hear, for y'all to hear what we were saying back in 2010, 2014, because we was going at it. But it was more so us holding each other accountable. But the type of stuff we were saying to each other, y'all, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we heard y'all.
yeah, tell them again, Jerry.
We heard y'all. Yeah. We heard. Never mind. Let me stop. We heard a lot of things. Yeah. So some things that we shouldn't heard too. But anyways, so So what's the outlook going forward? What's next? What do you like? Anybody? Just open it up. What's final words? What's next for Bethune-Cookman football? Next.
I think the last thing I'm gonna say, but what's next? Only thing I want us to do for the rest of the season is just give effort. Have pride about yourself and give effort. Don't go out the way that you came in. I'm not sure, as far as the outlook on how many games we'll win. I'm not sure, but I just want to see these guys compete, man, and give effort.
Here.
I agree. But I'm not counting the wins this season. I just feel like they need that one win so they can get a taste of it and just keep pushing forward. I feel like that's really going to take them to the next level this season.
Yep. Got to get the first. Anybody else? Coach Rowland, Theon, Ashley?
Just keep believing, keep supporting. I know I will, and be there on every turn. And just leaving Western Michigan, I know we didn't win the contest, but with putting up the points, it was. And I know we don't like moral victories, but it was a moral victory for those guys leaving there, putting up those type of points against a Western Michigan team. And you come home, and then you do it again in the first half, and then you allow it to be snatched from you. I think that's where we're at right now, and a lot of these players just have to get out of their own head and play football that you've played the majority of your life, and do it as a team, and things will work out for you. And we got to get it together with the coaching staff. The communication from upstairs to downstairs is abysmal. to say the least. So we just got to fix that,
So, Darryl,
especially during this open week.
Darryl, y'all still taking a bus to chartering a bus to go
Yes,
to,
sir. We will
Alabama
continue.
Going to Huntsville?
Yes, sir. We will continue to support our Wildcats.
Yeah. You expect to go up there and spoil their homecoming?
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. As Scotty said, it's whoever we show up with, and whoever they have. You got to go in there with that mentality. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Ty, you got to tell us where we have to eat when we come up there to Huntsville. What was that place last time with that? Was that the place with the fish place there? Was that Huntsville?
No, it was a soul food place. It was. Yeah, I'm glad Ralph's not on here.
Ooh, Lord, we ain't doing. So if you recommend soul food, we ain't doing it. It's some burnt catfish, man.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, so yeah, bad. Coach Rowland, you unmuted your mic. Go ahead. Oh, Theon, go ahead. You first, and then Coach Rowland.
All right. Well, my whole thing is we can't really control the coaches. We can't control the players on the field. But what we can control is how we support from the stands, and we can rally behind our team, our school, and try to get as many people as possible to come to the game and be as loud as possible. When it's on defense, not necessarily on offense, right? We need to communicate that to the folks on the mic, but we just need to be in control of what we can do, and that's making sure that we're supporting our team and making sure that we are giving them as much effort that we can give. So
let me get this right. You don't want our PA speaker telling the crowd to get loud when our offense have the ball.
Now I'm a band.
Let me stop.
Right?
I'm being messy.
Yeah, very true.
I'm very confused with it.
I know he up there like get loud. Like no, be quiet. We got the ball. Shut up. Anyways, Coach Rowland, go ahead.
As Darryl just said, man, this is a game these kids been playing their whole life. Find that childlike joy for it, because right now I don't look like we enjoy playing the game. It's the same ball. They got the same 2 white stripes and the same amount of laces in the middle, and you have fun playing at one point. You got to figure that out and find it, because now that you're on scholarship in college, the last few years of your life was guaranteed you get to go play. And if you really love it, you're gonna give it some. You're gonna give it something. Because right now, I just want to see us play with some pride, man. Like just show me you got something in you that's gonna keep you from going out there and looking like we look. Like there's no reason, because if we're losing games playing uninspired, then clearly, how good could we be if we played inspired? And whether your inspiration is your mama, your grandmama, your little sister at the house, like your coach that took you into high school, at some point, bro, find that. Like I couldn't play with some of them, because we be fighting, because I know how I am and how I was. So like it's hard for me. That's why I try not to even talk a lot, because it seems like it's old school in thinking, but like at some point you just got to play and use like whatever it is the reason why you playing. You playing the game, even if it's to get your scholarship paid for, so you can be a nurse. Like play so you can keep it, because they can take it. You know what I mean? Like, So that's my thing. Like, just we gotta find some passion. Because I know as a fan. Yep.
Walk me through this. So last year, Florida's high school state championship game. You go out, you lose a heartbreaker the year before in the state championship finals. You go back last year, you're in the state championship finals. You go out, you kick the ball off to start the game. You tell your kicker, put whatever you do,
Don't
put
kick
this
it
ball
number
in the
one.
corner.
Yes.
Don't kick it at number one. And he kicked it right to number one. He ran it, 98 yards, touchdown.
Yes, sir.
And then you come back, you drive the ball downfield, you get it, ball turn up, some things go against you. Oh, you line up to kick a field goal.
They block it.
Put some points on the board. They block it. They run it all the way back. You down 14-0. So now your guys feeling pretty bad about themselves, much like Bethune. What did you tell your guys then? What do you tell your guys in that kind of situation when everything seems to be snowballing going against you. We know you came back and won the state championship and all that, but at that point, when everything seems, go ahead.
Same message has been when you're getting blown out. The guys that's out there gonna be out there. So you got one or two choices. You gonna continue to get embarrassed, and everybody gonna see it because you're not coming out, or you gonna stand up, and you got to make a decision at that point. Like, are you gonna stand up and fight and play? Or are you gonna lay down? And like again, when you talk about like the young lady said earlier about getting guys to find out about our founder, like she ain't lay down as hard as it was. She ain't lay down. Like, don't lay down. And that's what it comes down to. You lay down or you don't. It's an easy choice. So I mean that's you tell them stay the course. Because even these kids, like it's only one sweat loss. All ain't lost, but it's just people want to see them play more inspired. Like everything they want still in front of them.
Still
Every piece
there.
of it.
Still there.
Everything. Alabama State not gonna go undefeated in the sweat. You need them to lose two or create some tiebreaker, but they gotta want to go to the dome. That's my thing. Like, do we have a goal of wanting to go to the dome, or we just out here to try to go to the league? Like, newsflash, brother, they haven't been looking at HBCUs anyways to go to the league unless you're running 4-3. So get it out your brain.
And even then, bro,
get it out your brain, fam.
Like, y'all lost a position.
Like right, but again, when everybody's screaming the house on fire, we got to know the house really ain't on fire, but it is. But it ain't. Like it's one of them tough things, man. Where they gotta some intestinal fortitude, man. Like you gotta, again, like I say, we could talk about coaching. I can tell you, shit, we played cover one all game under Coach Wide, like, and everybody knew it. But when you just believe in what you're doing, it don't matter. You know what I mean? So like that's what's like. Coaches sometimes can be overrated. I think inspiring kids to play is underrated. I do agree with that. But like at some point, you got to put your face in somebody else's face and go, "I'm preaching. Let me hush."
No. You're doing exactly right. You got to put your face in. With guys diving at shoestrings all game and won't stand up in the hole and hit somebody in the face, that's a problem. And that's what we saw yesterday. Uninspired in every way, shape, or form, including when you got an opportunity to make a play. This you and Jimbo with the ball in his hand coming right at you. And you decide to dive at him because manning up costs you too much. I can't trust you. You can't be on the field for me. I just don't trust you. If you're not out there to play a physical football game, you don't need to be out there. Period. And so at some point, go ahead.
No, I was saying we let a receiver get up on the center and score a touchdown. But I know why that kid can do that. I coached him. And he playing for Alabama State. Like, but he's a dog, though. He's a dog. It's an old lineman over there. We talked about a white. Somebody said go get the white kids. It's a white offensive lineman that played for Mainland High School last year. He goes to Alabama State. There's another white offensive lineman that's 6'8", 320 pounds, who chose Division II Lenore Ryan and was gonna choose NAIA Kaiser over us. Now, why? That's neither here nor there for me to discuss. But just know he was gonna choose it. Like, we let Najah Harrell come score 2 touchdowns in a stadium he made his name in. Twice. He quarterback sneak and a one-handed RPO route on the goal line. We let him score. And I didn't know whether to cheer or cry. It was a little bit of both.
Like, wait, that's my family now. Hold on. Those are my people. He got an offer from me. He can take it.
Hold on.
My God.
You related to Akil and all the rest of them?
No, me and his dad and like his whole family, we've been cool damn near my whole life. So he did get an offer from Cookman, but he didn't take it. It's cool. His dad hit me up. He's like, I would love to send him to Cookman, but I got to do what's best for my boy. And I said, I understand. It's cool.
Yeah, 3 points. One, it's going to be hard for y'all. You're not going to win. You're not going to be good again until you get that old school Wildcat emblem back on your helmet. Okay, so that might help. Okay, and then, number 2, Travis, we gonna help you this week. Help y'all meet all of y'all goals. But you're still gonna have to go through us because we're gonna take care of Alabama State for you.
Man, we ain't worry about y'all. Y'all head coach going. It's over with.
Well, I mean, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. And don't think, Miss Body, I don't see you on here. I said what I said. And then number 3, I'm so glad
Oh,
I'm
here we
from
go. I have
FAMU.
to mute this dude
I'm
every week.
so glad
Let me just
I'm
mute
from
him.
FAMU.
I can't find the mute button.
Man, go ahead and mute that man.
Every week, yeah. And listen, I know you said Miss Body's on here. We were thinking, well, we were happy going into this game. We were not happy that he got hurt. Let me be honest with that. He's been one of my favorite players since his freshman year at Texas Up. And so, but we thought, when the season started, we're like, man, we got to worry about these guys. We came into this game, we're like, hey, nobody, we gonna be all right against them. And anyways, so we wish him a speedy recovery. Hopefully everything's going well with Andrew's recovery. Hopefully that he gets back to 100%. He comes back better than ever. We are rooting for him. We are a huge, huge fan of Andrew Body. So best of luck. Send him our love from Daytona. So that's it. I think that's it. It's been an hour and 45 minutes. Anybody else before we go? Anybody else got anything to get off their chest? Anybody other than Earl? We tired of hearing him and his FAMU song. Let me remove him as a speaker before he try to jump back on here. Let's take care of that. Yep. No longer Earl, I see Earl he good with us. That's it, man. We appreciate it. We got an off week next week, and then we head up to Huntsville. We'll be back after that game to talk. Maybe not on Sunday night because we'll be traveling back from Huntsville. Ty didn't tell us where to eat, so I guess we won't eat anywhere. We're going to eat at the Buc-ee's or somewhere, so we don't have to eat that nasty soul food. Somewhere other than that soul food place. Whatever that was. So, anyways, yeah, we'll meet y'all at a gas station in Huntsville. And so, where the food is pretty decent. So, anyways, all right. Well, appreciate you guys. Appreciate all of your contributions. Next time, we're going to make Chanel a host so she can get it all off her chest. And so, we appreciate everybody's contribution, and we'll be back here in a couple of weeks. You guys be good. God bless, and be easy. Y'all Wildcats.
Hill Wildcats.
Hill Wildcats.
This has been another broadcast of the Hill Wildcats Gridiron Show.